as it stands. So who is Zinzino? Well, Zinzino is a 15-year-old business. It's not a startup. It's been a publicly quoted company for the last 10 years. So you can see the progression that's happened by visiting the NASDAQ and viewing the Zinzino share price. Also the reports and accounts for that period of time. And you'll witness or have the evidence of the growth and the strength of the business going forward. We're in markets which currently embrace around about 1 billion people, of which 950 million are out of balance. I'll explain that in a bit more detail in a moment. This map is slightly out of date because Australia is now open. UK is open-ish, but we've not got everything in place yet, and that's what we're in right now. We're also going to see a number of countries opening in the next year to 2 years. There are currently 20 on plan, and that plan hasn't changed despite the coronavirus issues. We're also members of the Direct Selling Association. As I said, we've seen double-digit sales growth. We're getting 25% growth here in the UK now, and this is in its infancy in terms of market penetration. Very strong foundation, as I said. Growing fast. These are last year's numbers. To the end of last year, as you can see, there was a spike in business due through 2018, 2019, growing it really quickly. And as these new countries open, that pace is going to increase. And I'll put a bit more detail on that in a moment. So what's driving this? Well, as I've mentioned, according to the results that we have, 95% of the population is out of balance. What does that mean and how do we know that? Well, quite simply, it's because there is an imbalance between the levels of omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids in our system. Why is that important? Well, they're what's known as essential fatty acids. That means you have to get them through your diet. You simply cannot get them. Your body doesn't make them, in other words, from other things that it takes in. It's got to be provided as part of the dietary process. And low omega-3 levels and inadequate dietary polyphenol supply, as well as vitamin D3. Why is that important? Well, because essentially fish oils, omega-3, which is sold through pharmacies, health food shops, and online, those that are pure fish oils simply don't work. And the reason why they don't work is because they're short of certain things that need to be there in combination, the polyphenols and the vitamin D3 in this instance. And I'll explain a bit more about that in a minute. Excuse me. We consume way too much omega-6. A modern diet that we've developed in the West means it's omega-6 dominant with saturated fats in particular. And you can see kind of examples here of, hamburger, vegetable oil, those kinds of things. Too much omega-6, too little omega-3, which is provided by oily fish, avocado, various seeds and nuts as well. But we don't get the right balance of those in the diet overall. So why is this really important? What's happening at the cellular level? Because this is the thing that makes the difference. Well, omega-3 is an absolutely essential building material for the membranes of every cell in our body. Now think about what that means. There's 100 trillion cells or thereabouts that make up a human. Every single one of them has omega-3 that it uses, as it does with omega-6. But if there's too much omega-6, what happens is that the cell membrane becomes harder, more brittle. So it doesn't function correctly. And essentially what happens there is that the good stuff can't get in and the bad stuff can't get out very well. As a consequence of that, it causes a particular problem. Omega-6 is the pathway to inflammation. Omega-3 is the bit that switches that inflammation off. When you're out of balance, your body is potentially in an inflammatory state all the time. So those of us who have high levels of omega-6 are more open to chronic disease going forward. And that's illustrated to some extent, and I'm not saying it's the only reason this is happening, but there is more and more chronic disease in society and less what seems to be good health. And there's an increase of it, particularly in older age groups. So here we're seeing one indicator, this indicator, which is one that can be directly addressed, that can bring down the risks that we all run by having too much omega-6. So the thing that's really driving all this and has been driving it over the last 8 to 9 years in particular, is the Zinzino balance oil. Now, the reason why it's named a balance oil is because it does the job to help your body take the omega-3 in the most effective way. I said earlier that fish oil as such, it might be pure, it may well be capsured well, it could be a great product in terms of its purity and lack of contamination, but actually your body can't make use of it in the form it's delivered in, because they've omitted to put in the polyphenols to protect it and make it assimilable by the system. And they haven't added the vitamin D3 either. Now, I can attest to this personally. I was an omega-3 supplement taker for many years, 3 decades. And I'd been spending some money on a good one, what I thought was a good one. And one day I was asked a very simple question, which is, how do you know your omega-3 supplement actually is doing anything? And I had to say, well, I actually don't. I know I need it because I don't eat a lot of fish, don't eat a lot of oily fish. So I know, and and I like a hamburger. So I know that I'm potentially out of balance. So I decided to take the test, and my personal test came back quite a long way out of balance, as I'll explain again in a moment. So Zinzino balance oils are optimally protected from oxidation by olive oil. Now, why is olive oil important? Because that's also an oil, of course. Well, if you harvest olive oils early, they're extremely bitter to the taste. And that is the polyphenols in it. And there's a particular type of olive oil from Spain, which is extremely effective at helping to protect the omega-3 in the balance oil. Added to that is vitamin D3, and together it's a magic combination. Things happen with balance oil that can't happen with a standard fish oil. So it's a perfect dosage based on weight. So again, there's more science involved in this. It actually tastes great, and it's comprehensively approved by the European Food Safety Authority and of the American FDA, the Federal Drug Administration. And we are allowed to make claims for it because it is an essential fat. Without it, it is known through masses of research, the health consequences of not having it right. So let me talk about the testing that we do. This is test-based nutrition. Now, I've been someone who has used nutritional supplements for a long time. Someone's got an open mic. Would you mind just muting yourself, please? Sorry, as of March the 18th, that's incorrect. I should have changed that to April whatever today's date is. We've actually carried out more than 490,000 tests. So this is statistically relevant. You know, it's as near certainty as you can get based on that number of tests that these results on the right are correct. Only 5% of Europeans have a 3-to-1 ratio or better. So 3 parts omega-6, 1 part omega-3, 5% of us. Now here I come back to my story, as an omega-3 supplement user. And when I took the test and had the results back, I was surprised. Actually, I was disappointed. I felt out of pocket because I came back at 14.4 to 1. Now, as you can see, actually, that I was in the 75% group in terms of my balance, because I was already taking an omega-3 fatty acid supplement, but I didn't hit the 7-to-1 ratio. I was closer to 15-to-1, which is the average. So I may as well have not bothered, and I'd probably still have been closer to the average. So I could have saved all that money. Anyway, after the second test, people are 3-to-1 or lower. So 95% of people. So out of this sample that we're talking about, those who choose to use the balance oil, instead of, if they're already using an omega-3 supplement, the one they were using, like me, then they come back into balance, within the balance range, within 120 days. I did the second test. My balance was 2.1 to 1. So I'm smack in the middle of the optimal range. And I'd taken fish oils for years beforehand, none of them having any real impact. Now, okay, you can say, well, testing, you know, perhaps there's a skewing in the results because you would want to show this, wouldn't you? Well, actually, Zinzino uses an independent company called Vitas Labs. They provide independent testing services to health organizations, universities, and sports bodies all over the world because they're independent, and they have an independent oversight so that they're validated and audited. And so Zinzino is one of their biggest customers, as you might expect, given the testing regime they have in place. And these results are shown by them through the testing system that they actually have. So it's completely anonymous, and it's totally accurate. Yeah, because you can retest and you'll get a very similar result. So coming back to Zinzino, this is a proven success story because you can see that in all the results, the financial results, as well as the number of customers it has and the retention rate of those customers as well. We now know over 490,000 people have so far been independently tested. This is now the world's #1 database in terms of omega-6/3 results. This is of massive interest to other people, research bodies, universities, and of course the pharmaceutical industry and others, because it's valid information for them to measure against other things and to start to make inferences about population health. There are over 230,000 monthly subscriptions. This is the point. This is people taking the product and continuing to take the product because it delivers the result. And millions of bottles, of course, have already been consumed. So why choose Zinzino? This is the area where we start to look at. It sounds great, but what does it really happen, and how are the benefits here? Well, these are real customers getting real customers. These are people like me. Even if I weren't a partner with Zinzino, I'd be recommending people shift to Zinzino Balance Oil because I've seen the results I have. This is results-based nutrition. It's not faith-based, if you like. I was taking them on faith on the basis that I knew I needed to have some form of additional input before I started taking Balance Oil. Now I know the actual results because I can test for them. Over 31,000 people get their monthly subscriptions free because of the Z for Free program. What that means is that even as a customer, if you ask, say, 4 or 5 other people and 4 of them decide to become customers as well, then your product is free. Because the company's saying, well, thanks, without you, we wouldn't have had these 4 other customers. And that's how this business is being driven. It's customers buying and consuming product. And of course, there's a customer money back results guarantee. What that means is that if as someone coming into the program, you decide to buy a package, a customer package, and you then have your test results back and then come back in balance, then you have the option to get your money back on your initial order because you're already in balance. What we found in those instances where people have been in balance, they've chosen to continue to take the oil, very simply because it's quality and actually from a pricing point of view, it's extremely competitive. And of course, you've got access to the testing regime. So also, that's fine. We talk about the product. We talk about Zinzino's growth. We talked about the ambitions it has in terms of expansion. Talked a bit about the reasons why the product's needed in the market. Talked a bit about the testing process. Zinzino is a publicly traded company, so why choose it? It's full transparency, financial strength. The culture of it's very simple. It's young, it's dynamic, it's energetic, it's got passionate founders, and it has vision, wants to be places, wants to go places, knows what it's after, what it's trying to achieve. And that's basically a change across the world in terms of something that's 100% fundamental to basic health. You have to have the right omega-3 in your diet. You can't get away from the fact you'll just have, your body just becomes less and less efficient by not doing so, and you run greater risks of long-term chronic disease. So the ambition's simple, and the vision is simple. It's servant-led. What more can we do to support you? I've never been involved in a company in network marketing like this, where it's been focused so heavily upon delivering the result for the customer through the partners. That means helping the partners become the servant of the customer in a way which delivers real results for them. And Zinzino is totally focused upon that process and improving it all the time. I've been in this industry for knocking nearly 30 years, and I've never, ever found a networking business that looks at its marketplace in this way, customer-centric, rather than potentially bottom-line centric. Excuse me. It actively encourages and supports entrepreneurship. We as partners are entrepreneurs in our own right. The company recognizes that and looks at what entrepreneurs need and provides access to tools and all kinds of other support to help us improve what the results are that we get. Family community, live, inspire, change, because of course, without change, nothing changes in our own lives. So if you've got dreams, ambitions, and desires that you're not meeting at the moment in whatever you're doing right now, then gaining access, ready access to this kind of support and potential is, well, it doesn't come along very often. And ultimately, you know, this is all about enjoyment. It's about doing something you like to do and getting out of this fun in a way which perhaps you know you don't get from the day job. So why choose Zinzino? I'd repeat some stuff here, really. Company and the culture, the simplicity of the test concept. People can buy into that because they can see the results. The Z for free program, the guarantee of effectiveness and the money back. The CAR program, which Zinzino encourages people to grade up as they start to get some success. Training, mentoring, and personal development, the like of which I've never seen available as part of the partner offering in any other networking company. Mobile technology and apps, which I'll cover in a little detail later. Excuse me again. This is really a business for everyone. It's not. We're not really looking for people coming directly in from other networks in ways where we're expecting them to bring loads of people with us. This is not, as I've heard expressed, this is not a pop and drop business, which so many others have done. They come in, they get into a market, they burn it hard for a couple of years, take a lot of money out and disappear. Zinzino's not in this market for that. It's here for the long run. It's got a strategy that it's moving forward with, and that includes the UK market, and they're here to stay. So, as I said, other MLMs, networking companies focused on old networkers getting old people. What's that mean? It's a merry-go-round. Distributors or partners in other networks moving with a group of their own to a new home all the time. That's not the focus. However, there are those who are being attracted to Zinzino because it offers all the things their existing business perhaps doesn't. A price point for product that's very competitive. Training and mentoring and personal development that's built in, a pay plan that works, and I'll cover that in a bit more detail in a moment, and ways to to create the excitement around what we have as an offering. It's new people getting new people. And I'm surprised at the numbers who are being attracted because of it. You know, this is opportunity for everyone. New thinking, customer-focused program, simple, social, fun. Anyone can do it. It's just a question of whether you choose to. And there's a mass market appeal. Everybody needs this, you know. Well, everybody needs it. 95% really need it. They just don't know it yet. And here in UK, we're about 15-1 as an average. In the US, it's 25-1. In Australia, it's around, you know, everyone's out of balance. So this is a planet of 7 billion people. So what's that? I don't know, nearly 6.8 or something like that. Billion of them are out of balance. Simple message. It's test-based nutrition. Test yourself, see if you're out of balance. So understand this position. The company's goals are, this is their vision, the vision to hit 1 million customers by 2025. Currently, it looks like that'll get hit by 2023. 10 million by 2035 and 100 million by 2050. But look at that in relation to the overall scale of the global population. And 100 million, actually there'll probably be more than 100 million more people on the planet by then than there are now. So this is not, it's ambitious in some ways in that the numbers are big, but in other ways, you know, they could be relatively small. The global omega-3 market's already 50 billion, but it's growing and growing rapidly. You have the opportunity to own an element of the UK and set yourself up to lead here, and then into Europe and Asia and beyond there. Literally a global business. So with you all the way, with unparalleled UK leadership, I'm proud to say that Sue and I made a choice back last year to become partners with Zinzino. And the more we develop with this, the more I see how much of it's needed, and not just from the personal health point of view, but also from the dreams and aspirations. So let's talk a little bit about how we get paid here. It's a plan that works. We know that 600 people so far have qualified for the CAR program. It's a microcosm of where it will end up. Many of the top income earners never been in the networking industry before, and the majority of people make money, not just a few. It's a simple plan to explain. I'll come to it in a second. Simple message, simple path to success. There's the ability to generate revenue quickly. So, excuse me, that's all fine in principle, but what do you get in order to kickstart your business? Well, if we start from the left here, we're looking at the Zinzino Express. That's the blueprint. It's the blueprint by which anyone could run a Zinzino business from day one. You know, if you're a bookworm, you can read your way into this business. But we teach and train people to work with us, to work their way through the first few weeks to get the process built into their own success profile, and to start the ball rolling with some really genuine new customers and partners. There's the business opportunity guide, brochure that will guide in what to say in order to help to communicate the program. And I've never seen this in any other network, where built into the core of the partner offering is what's called the GoCore app. That's the personal development portal that allows you access to globally recognized exceptional trainers in the networking industry who help people to create new results for themselves through personal development. And last but not least, and only recently released, there's an on-phone app which works in order to help you to communicate effectively with new prospects, in a way which uses the resource of Zinzino's website and marketing material to present the opportunity and the product in a very professional way. So you can do it consistently across the board, helping the program to duplicate through a continuous activity. So timing, let's look at that for a minute. You know, this is a £1 billion business just growing towards it right now. The next 3 to 5 years, we'll be knocking that door, I suspect. And it's now really breaking out from the Scandinavian core it began with. And the beauty of Scandinavian business is very simple. They're extremely well run. They're very organized. They know what they want to achieve. There's enthusiasm and drive and expressiveness in it, but it's not hype. And that's one of the most impressive things I've come across. Is this is a business about, you know, you scratch the surface and it's solid. It's really there. Lots of other businesses, you do that and things start to look as if they've been painted over. And we're just starting here in Europe. So this is potentially a once in a lifetime opportunity. 20 new countries in the next 2 years, including India and China. So between them, there's another 2.6 billion people on top of the billion or so that we've got already. So it more than doubles the market potential. This is going to be a gigantic business. Right time, right place, right opportunity, perfect timing. So what now? Well, the person who invited you would like you to be a key partner in their organization and to work with you in order to help you develop a Zinzino business here in the UK and wherever your connections take you. We have 3 basic enrollment packs, and I'll come on, and I've got a couple more to share with you in a second. I tend to only talk about the one to the right-hand side, because if you're on this call, then the person who invited you sees you as a business partner. And this is the business partner, the ultimate pack is the place to start, very simply because of the bottom line here, where there's a full refund after 12 months if you have sponsored and helped 25 people to get onto the Balance Oil product and any other products that are in the Zinzino stable. So here we are in a situation where for 995 euros, essentially, you get your money back in month 13 if what you've done is do your job. And that doesn't happen with the other packages. However, with this coronavirus issue that we now have, the company's reacted to that because of the kind of lockdown process and not being able to get out to meet people so much, and created something called the Health Protocol Partner Kit. And that's in place because one of the key things that the scientists behind the Zinzino product range know is that actually the reason why the coronavirus does what it does is it's not the virus that kills people. It's the immune system going into overdrive. And if you protect and enhance your immune system to its optimal, that's less likely to happen. So this health protocol partner kit was designed with the products in it, designed to help support the immune system. With the omega-3 balanced oil, the xenobiotic was a prebiotic powder that you take in water, and then the extend multivitamin mineral support system. Those three together act to effectively optimize your system in a way which most of us don't have if we're out of balance. Now, this takes a little time, as you might imagine, but if you're out of balance and then you get onto the protocol, the health protocol kit, then you begin to raise that potential. And then there's the ultimate immune partner kit, which is a similar thing, but with more product and much bigger discount. And on each of these, there is the refund after 12 months. And this was the company's way of saying, look, we want to help people to overcome this issue. And they can do that with these two kits, or one of these two kits, depending on their need and their capacity. So these are really, really powerful ways to become involved as a partner. So let's talk about the way this actually works in terms of what comes back. Personal customers, how does this bit work? Excuse me. Every progression within the way the reward system works is given a rank. Effectively, as someone coming in as a new partner, becoming a bronze is basically 4 customers. We have this kind of mantra, which is 4 customers, 4 partners, and then up to 10 customers. And so 4, 4, 10 is the mantra that we have. That's the goal in the initial period for someone first becoming involved. So we have 4 customers. That delivers on some extra bonuses, 10% cash bonus, and the Zinzino for free. In other words, you as a partner, having found 4 customers, then qualify for your product free the following month. Now, I don't know of any other businesses that do that either, just for, you become a partner and now you're rewarded again for bringing in some more customers. And there's a €100 Smart Bronze bonus, which you get with it as long as this is achieved in the first 30 days. Then there's the 10 customers I mentioned. So now we're focused on customers right now. And that takes you to what's called X Team. There's another 10% cash bonus, which is €90. And what's called enrollment credit bonus that is added to it. And €150 X Team Express bonus, as long as that's achieved within 60 days. So what the company's saying here is, it's great to have you on board, but that's not the end point if you've decided to be a partner. This is the point at which we work together in order to start to develop your organization and your customer base. A team is when it reaches 25 customers, and that gives you a 20% cash bonus, adds another level of bonus in terms of what's called residual credit bonus, and €100 extra bonus per month as a residual on top of that. And then, of course, duplicate Zinzino for free. The fastest way to build your customer points is to work with our health protocol and help your customers achieve Zinzino for free. The health protocol is the 3-product package designed for customers, which is obviously more than just the balance oil, but it includes the balance oil, xenobiotic, and the extend supplement. So now we look at the customer career plan. Look at this: protein, 50 customers. And so it goes on, 100. And actually now this is important because this carries an extra €10,000 bonus, a one-time bonus, paid over 25 months, €400 a month, for creating 100 customers. There are lots of people out there actually who haven't built many partners, but have built 100 customers or more. And that's the reward for having a customer-centric program. Top 200 customers, these then giving you a residual of about €400 a month. And if you reach for the stars and hit 1,000, then it's a £2,000 a month residual plus the Z phone bonus of 200, plus the 30% cash bonus, as you see. So what does this mean in practical terms? Because I've talked about 4 customers and then 10 customers up to 1,000, but I also mentioned 4 partners. And this is where we get into the point about building the team, because, pardon me, you and your team, your customers as part of step one. You've got your 25 personal customers. There's you and your €100 bonus on the basis of that. There's the Smart Bronze bonus and the X-Team Express bonus. And now we've found your 4 partners. So here we have A, B, C, and D. They're your 4. This number 4 is actually quite important, as you'll see as we develop this. So that 4, then finding their 25, takes you to 100 customers. You see that on the top line. So we're progressing across on the basis of the 4 times the previous number. And you'll see how that starts to turn into quite significant amounts of money. That takes you into what's called silver. These are the steps up the rankings in terms of names. And there's a €250 fast start silver bonus. And that's as long as that's delivered in the first 30 days. So then we go to the, having taken your 4 partners to silver. So we've got 4, having found their 4, giving 16. So there are 4 silvers in that group, and that takes you to gold. You get the picture. And that takes you to 500 customers and €900, and it ranks you up then to what's called executive. This principle is carried on. We pick up then 16 silvers, takes you to 4 executives, 2,100, that takes you to a diamond business. Now that's probably in UK pounds around about the average monthly income. So if you were to build that as an additional business alongside what you do right now, an additional income, working with the partner who's wanting to bring you on board, very quickly you could transition into that potential for full-time income as you build on this basis. 64 times 4, 256, that takes you to 4 diamonds. That ranks you up again to crown and a €12,000 a month income or thereabouts. That's an average income, by the way. These figures are not written in stone. Of course, you know, there's going to be variation. Some have more, some have less, some have a greater number of customers and so on. But these are the basis. This is the basic averages that we talk about. And beyond that, there are lots more ranks going on. We've got good examples of people with more than 80,000 customers in their organization. So already, so this is not, you know, we're not a test here. That's really part of the point I'm trying to make. So rewards are very simply built up in terms of the daily activity, which we teach you to do and duplicate the process that we undertake ourselves. We stuck this slide in very quickly in order to illustrate the fact that we've got a common calendar for people to access in order to see what's going on, particularly now as so much of it's gone online. You can access information and support and presentations that you can invite your own people to through the details here, and through the team site we have on YouTube that covers these kinds of presentations as well. So you can run those 24 hours a day if you want, 24/7 if you want. And then of course the live ones that we carry out throughout the week. I just want to say that, you know, I personally never seen a business that's really turned me on quite like this, except one other I was involved in some 25 years ago or thereabouts. There's very few companies come along like this, where the potential is so enormous, it's well organized, it's very well run, it's got great ambition, it's extremely fair, the pay is great, and the potential here is for something sustainable is unusual in my experience of the networking industry. And here we have a company that's looking to become a legacy company with a huge business globally. And this is the potential for us here in the UK to latch into that with an existing system, one that works, extremely well organized, and potentially can deliver on whatever dreams and aspirations you have. Because ultimately that's what it's all about. And this potential is there for someone wanting to perhaps run alongside what they do right now, something else to build up towards that full-time income, in which case this is the place to be. Thank you everyone for your time and attention tonight. Good luck, and I hope you stay safe. Thanks all.